Hello, today is the 7th of July 2011. Welcome to today's Silver Log. This trend line has not only now been tested, but it has also now been broken, unconfirmed break. As far as the support line, which is really only important at this point for trying to find upside targets because it is above it. And the way you can use it to find an upside target is by finding the equal length within the trend line and the exact same rate of descent. So what I'll do is I've already copied a little bit of the image and I'll paste this just above like in here and then draw a parallel line. The reason for this is when you're in a range like this and you break to one side or the other, generally speaking, this is where you'll be going towards. And right now, this level is above 37 and in around 38. And by the time it gets there, we're probably looking at $37 and about 70 cents, depending on when it is. It's a moving resistance line, but this is what I would be looking for as a possible resistance area. As far as levels of resistance, previous high, one by one by one. The last one is the Fibonacci, this right in here, from this high to this low. That's the level it needs to do to really break out of the sellers into control, into some sort of neutrality. As far as the volatility is concerned, the blue line represents the average move over a 5-day period, or 20 periods on the quarter day, and then the 20 period average. I think the only thing that I think I need to mention is that we have a situation where the blue line is now getting above the orange line. The orange line is flattening out. Thus, this is the type of formation that is usually used within a reversal period. The shorter candles, each one of these has 50 periods within it. Now, the 6-hour chart has a 20 period average, the rest have an 18. The reason for that is to make this resemble the 5-day moving average. The averages are run on a front weighted level. That simply means that the more recent of the time frames, the more it is counted towards the moving average. Also, what is added within this is these numbers on the screen. There's 5 sets of them. The first level represents the first 10 candles. This is candles 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and 41 to 50. Within this, the highs went lower, lower, higher, higher. So 2 sets of higher highs in a row. The lows, which went lower, lower, higher, and higher. And we have now, for the first time, closed above this 36 level in quite some time. As far as the chart images are concerned, previous resistance in here was found as support down in here. As far as this level, it pretty much was also tangled within support. And the significant thing about Fibonacci is this. When you meet a high and you meet a low, and you want to make it a real selling move, what's important is to stay below the upper Fibonacci line. In this case, this is $35.43. Therefore, resistance did not occur in here where it was supposed to. When I say supposed to, that means to keep the bear trend alive. Rather, it continued to move higher, had a very volatile session within here. I'll check it to make sure that this is not a misprint. But regardless of the fact, for 5 candles, it has been within this sideways consolidation above the Fibonacci. Whenever I see this, a break above this line, and then confirm or stay above it for quite some time, that pretty much means at almost every occasion a test of the previous high And in this case, that's roughly at about $36.80. The next one is the daily time frame. Once again, same thing in here. It takes the last 10, or 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and so on and so on. As far as these highs are concerned, this one was lower, this one was lower, this one was lower, and this one was lower. 4 consecutive lower highs. For the lows, this one was higher, higher, lower, and lower. As far as the closes are concerned, it's finally back above the 36, but for the last period it was 35, and we're still obviously within this bigger picture range bound market, as the range, as I mentioned, came within really 2 trading days after it was even faster below here to set the first price correction in here that established the time correction. So from this high to this low, it has stayed within this range. As far as the average, went above it, found it as support, went below it. Found it as resistance, went below it. Found as resistance, and it is now went above it. Still very choppy. It is positive to state that it is above that average. The average is starting to turn around and move higher, but we still have this bigger level here at the mark of $38.14. This is the Fibonacci that has been tested now pretty much on 3 occasions. It was tested here, it was tested here, and it came pretty close within this last previous test. What would be very important if it could come up here and find resistance is to find a way to find support, probably somewhere around here, where we had this level of previous resistance that could meet up within this 18 period average. Final chart will be the weekly chart, going over these numbers in here: 22 to 30 to 33 to 49 to 48. Well, it's been going for the most part much higher. Still, it'd be nice to make a higher high above 49.81, but within time, I think that seems very inevitable. Low 17, 21, 26, 31, 32. Stair stepping higher. So there's no way to say things are bearish when you're making this pattern of higher lows overall, but we can only correct for so long before you throw away any bullish activity. It has still stayed above this support line, which is very, very important. It keeps the market from not being that of bearish. This average here is in a range right now between 39 and 35.27. It's within that range once again. Break above this resistance line is what is needed to get this thing really going. Alrighty then, thank you for tuning in. And the final comment that I would like to make is that really of the confirmation. Because we've had this nice move so far, we've got a trend line that has had a good start to it. We really never had many trend lines that would be within this type of rate of ascent. The only ones, we had this one in here. And the movements that I want to see is something for confirmation. I want to see a confirmation for a break above this trend line. If I can see that, then I'll like the way things are about to get going. What I need to do is I need to find this thing, really make a higher low and get above the previous high of about 30 in and around the 36.75 area, and then things will be looking pretty good. But again, it needs to get above in here to go bullish. Take care.